In France, we have regulators and authorities basically saying they're open for business to crypto companies under, among other things, the new MiCA regulatory framework that's taking hold in Europe. Starting, I believe, in 2025 is when it goes into effect, but there are some transitional rules that are going to allow companies to operate. Already, apparently, 75 crypto companies are registered in France under those rules, and they expect as many as 25 more. And that could include companies that are right now still in America, because the new regulatory framework is going to be a lot friendlier than what we're getting in the US. At the same time, the UK, which is no longer part of Europe, remember, is signaling a much harsher approach, with one regulator saying that crypto should be regulated as gambling. There's a lot to be said about that, including the fact that the UK lawmaker is partly right about the gambling thing, but it's definitely part of a bigger shift in regulatory regimes. So are we going to see just a massive shift to companies operating maybe in Europe under this new regime?
Zach? I mean, I would take that bet. I would definitely take that bet. The crypto space wants clear guidelines, and that's what MiCA provides, right? And I think we get to see a little bit of this jockeying between the continent and the UK here, specifically with France warming to crypto, while the UK and others, especially the US, sort of take a more hardline stance. France has been quietly building up. I think it's sort of crypto chops and credibility in recent months. You know, you have several big name events over there. You have several big name ministers sort of involved in some of these crypto events over in Paris specifically. So the idea that France is sort of emerging onto the scene, I think, is something that we've been watching slowly bubble up over these past couple of months. And again, it's all about this sort of like, I don't know, this regulatory dance that all these different countries are playing, right? This is a global technology. It can be treated differently in different countries. Some are going to be more hospitable. Some are going to be more wary. And where others see danger, some see opportunity. And that's what we get to see time and time again with this global technology, as different national regulators deal with the stuff. But I'll toss it to Jen up in Canada for the view from up north.
I'm going to take that bet with you, Zach. You know, at the very beginning of this article, it references the MiCA regulation as a relative predictability. The law gives relative predictability to companies that are going to be operating in Europe. And I think that's so important, because imagine operating and understanding, if I do something bad is going to happen. But if I comply, maybe nothing will happen, or something good. It seems like such a far-fetched idea sitting here in North America, but in Europe, they seem to be getting it right. And I think we're going to see countries emerge as leaders in the space that we never expected to see. France is taking over headlines more and more. We're seeing more VC money pour into Europe. I saw some numbers yesterday that European crypto projects, VC investment in European crypto projects is up almost 10% in 1 year. So to draw some numbers here, in Q1 of 2022, VC investment in Europe was at 5.9%, and in Q1 of this year, it bumped all the way up to 47.6%. So the money is following the regulation. I think it's really unfortunate, because I think we're going to see not only money, but talent and innovation also, you know, maybe go across the sea. We've already heard, you know, Coinbase is looking at operations, places that are elsewhere than the US. Galaxy Digital has also said they're looking offshore. Binance recently left Canada. So we're seeing the effects of this happen in real time. And unfortunately, we're not really seeing any government or regulators action that. And that may be indicative of their intentions. Zach, I think I saw your hand go back up.
Yeah, David, I want your take on this specifically. I think a lot of these threats have been a bit toothless, right? Coinbase saying, hey, we're taking our ball and we're going home. And then, you know, Brian Armstrong gets on stage a couple weeks later and says, no, we're not leaving the US. Don't worry about it. Do you think that crypto firms in the US have the leverage to sort of make these public pronouncements and expect that regulators or lawmakers will do anything favorably toward them? Or do you think it's just like too small for most regulators or lawmakers to care?
Yeah, right now, I think trying to pull a leverage play on this is not the right approach. I think that the focus should be on explaining to people what they're actually dealing with and the reality underlying this stuff.